And welcome back to the Credit Authority. Again, I am your host, Rhonda Klch, and I know you have so many places that you can be, but tuning in with me today is so important as I try to bring you the most amazing guests that educate not just you, but maybe yourself and children, spouses about the amazing work of our guests. Today's guest is no different. I am bringing on with us today Phil Smith. And Phil is the founder of LBN, which is loanbrokernetwork.com, a nationwide educational program. Of course, not only that, but it's also sponsored and endorsed by Kevin Harrington, which most people know from the Shark Tank. So, Phil, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Now, I love what you do. And I think educational platforms is so important. I myself have a not for profit that does financial literacy education. So when I was introduced to yourself and your company, I felt that you would be an amazing guest to tell your story and educate people about not just entrepreneurship, but the importance of potentially being enrolled in your program. So you started LBN in 2017?
Correct. Yep. I started this business specifically in 2017, but my first company I ever started was in 1998, and we actually started an educational platform back then, getting people into the dial-up business, selling dial-up, which is obviously crazy thinking about it now. So I've been doing this educational stuff for a very long time. Now it's more mainstream. A lot of big brands are getting involved in one way or another, but it's been an interesting ride so far.
So you transitioned from one educational platform into LBN. How did you come up with the concept of LBN?
So I've been generating business loan leads since 2014. I've been one of the larger players in this space, generating over a million leads online. And in 2017, I had hundreds of thousands of leads. So I thought to myself, I see these companies, mostly startups, looking for funding. Then I started realizing that most of them actually don't even have a business. Mostly it's just an idea. So I thought to myself, well, why don't I give them a business, right? Why don't I give them an opportunity to start something from home? Maybe it's additional revenue stream to their current company, whatever the case may be. I just want to give them another opportunity. Started up in 2017. I put together a course, and within 24 hours, my first member came on, which I was shocked about. I was like, wow, it really works. And then from there, it blew up pretty well in the first 6 months. And that's when I thought to myself, well, if I'm really going to do this business and create this type of platform, then I got to start building my personal brand, because nobody's going to buy into some person you never heard of or doesn't have any, branding behind them or experience, etc. So I thought to myself, well, how do I accelerate my brand as fast as possible? So I actually spammed all the sharks that's ever were on the show, Shark Tank. I hit them all up. I talked to Damon John's team, met Damon in person a couple of times actually, Barbara Corcoran, Kevin Harrington, and I actually met Kevin in Tampa at his studio. I went down there, and I knew I only had about 30 seconds to really pitch him and gain his attention, which I did. And it worked. They did about 8 months of due diligence on me from beginning to end. So obviously, they're not going to work with just anybody, but they felt comfortable. And obviously, what I'm doing, they saw what I was doing, what the plans were going forward. And since that time, it's been an interesting ride. And to attach yourself to someone like Kevin and get access to his Rolodex, his team, his son Brian Harrington, the rest of them, it's been a really cool experience.
A lot of people obviously know the show Shark Tank, and you took a very bold move. So when you knew you had a very limited window, what did you say? What do you think you said that created the impact?
All right, so I have
Pitch
sold
me. Pitch me, Phil.
I have sold four companies in my career. I did sell one of them to an investment fund. So I was lucky enough to work at that investment fund for 2 years, and I learned how the other side of the fence works, right? So it's not about finding a partner, it's finding the right partner. Now, I knew that the number one thing that's hardest to get out of any investor is money. So I went into it telling him I didn't want his money. But this is exactly how it worked out. We were doing a brainstorming session to do my interview with him in Tampa. I sat myself at the door, closest to the door, because I knew he would be the first person out of the room. Once he walked out, I jumped up. I said, "Hey, Kevin, I'm currently doing about $2 million a year in revenue. I obviously want to utilize your brand to take myself to the next step. I'm not looking for any money. I'm just looking to work with you and your team and utilize your brand to take mine to the next level." Pretty
It
much
was,
it. He said, I'm interested. Let me introduce you to somebody. And then it all started from there.
I think it's important too, because a lot of times when you're speaking to a young entrepreneur or business professional, it's all about the funding. And I think as you grow, you learn it's not about the dollars, it's about the collaboration and the people that you surround yourself with. Because when you build a solid network, that's how you internally will grow. So let me ask
Right.
you now another question, which again, I'm so excited for you and the growth of the company. But along with that growth must come scalability. And believe it or not, I would say the fear of growing too fast. Tell me a little bit about that growth for you and how you overcame those challenges.
So I've been a
Yeah.
one employee company. I've been a one employee company since 2006. Before I started having kids, before I got married, because I knew I wanted to be around more when my kids were growing up. So today, 2022, um, it's still very important to me to stay a one employee company up until this point. I made the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing private companies, have done it as a one employee company now. This will be my fourth year doing that. So my biggest challenge is building a team because I am not good at that. And so I've actually stayed away from it. The only people I work with today are people that kind of just stumble into my life or I just happen to meet them. Every single person I work with today, I've known before. It's not just some random person I just met. So it's been interesting. The way that I scale my businesses is through automation. I only do things where I don't need people. All right. So I am against humans. I do everything as automated as possible and I
Okay.
build funnels. That's what I'm really, really good at is by building, high revenue, high growth businesses strictly online with the need of minimal people as possible. Now, I potentially am getting bought out in the next 30 to 45 days of Loan Broker Network, and then that will completely change the game. Obviously, I would have to build a team, and they want me to take this and 10x it very quickly. So I will be on the hook to do that, which is fine at that point in time. I don't mind doing it. But my next business that I'm starting, I need to build that one in a certain way again to automate the scalability of it. But yeah, it's tough because I still work till 2, 3 in the morning every night. I enjoy it, so I don't mind it. But the automation using technology, I only do businesses now that I know that I can sell and that I know can be ran without a huge investment and can grow again with the automation and technology.
So it sounds as if really you are a marketing guru that sells educational programs through your platform.
Yeah, I'm really, really good at selling and marketing. Sales and marketing, I'm really good at. And now, now there's this whole automation and everything that we build. This is stuff I'm still learning what we can and cannot do, and just it's really difficult to sell strictly online. Right? I do have a sales team out of Houston. They're a separate company. They do some stuff, but it's funny because through my funnel sells more than they do. So that means the automation sells more than people on the phone, which is really, really hard to do. But we got really good at it. So, but yeah, it's been fun. So I used to do consulting. I've worked with IBM, HP, Intel, AT&T, 1-800-Flowers, a lot of big brands back in the day, and during my old consulting business, where we did get our hands dirty and we worked with all different companies in all different ways. But yeah, I can help any company grow, scale the business. We actually created services around the Kevin Harrington brand and advisory services where any company can actually work with him and his team directly. And because of that, they would get access to us as well and my team to help any business grow. So we have taken our expertise, Kevin's brand, and kind of combine that with other services that we do separately. So But yeah, it's been an interesting ride. It's fun. I love this stuff. I love taking something from nothing and just watching it grow.
I love it. A true entrepreneur. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Again, we have on the Credit Authority our guest, Phil Smith. He is the founder of LBN, which is loanbrokeringnetwork.com. Stay tuned for our next guest. Phil, we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Have a good one.